Dear members of the Jersey City Board of Education, I have received hundreds of emails and phone calls from families in Jersey City regarding the process by which the Jersey City Board of Education is determining who will lead the district on expiration of Superintendent Epps' contract next year. These communications come to me as I have been working on a letter that I will shortly send to all school boards in New Jersey concerning best practices when hiring or renewing the contract of a superintendent. This guidance will strongly encourage school boards to take 3 important steps whenever the contract of their superintendent is nearing its end. First, it will encourage school boards to meet with their executive county superintendent to review the district's recent performance so school board members have good information about the district's strengths and weaknesses from an independent, authoritative source. Second, it will encourage school boards to interview several candidates for the position, even if the board is happy with its current superintendent, and to discuss with each candidate, among other things, how he or she would address areas where the district is in need of improvement. At minimum, this will provide board members with expert opinions about how district weaknesses might be successfully remedied. Third, it will engage school boards, encourage them to specify performance benchmarks in the contract that is negotiated with its chosen candidate, with a focus upon remediating the district's weaknesses. I will be providing this official guidance to all New Jersey school boards, and I encourage you to take these steps as you review whether to renew or extend Dr. Epps' contract or move in a new direction. I will be asking every school board in New Jersey to follow the best practices I outlined above. Sincerely, Brett Schindler, Commissioner of Education.
Will they be grandfathered?
Do the board members have a copy of this letter?
No. Are they grandfathered?
If the board has any questions, I will be glad to answer them.
Oh, I was going to say, somebody got something
The
to say.
citizens want to know, is their grandfather backwards?
Please, Mr. Connors?
Yes. Now, when the governor formed his national search for Commissioner of Education, what guideline did he use? What criteria?
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
I believe he formed a transition committee, but I'm not aware of the proceedings.
Well, he should have been here.
Control
Do
him.
we have that available to us to see that?
No, he shouldn't be up there.
Because, I don't want to say that Mr. Schindler isn't educated, but I don't think that he has a background in public education.
At all.
Yes.
I can certainly ask.
And again,
I think that was, it was a political appointment. I think
Yes.
that, the mayor
That's
was here
what
for
it
10
was.
years.
No
as a
voters
administrator,
chose
whether I
him.
agree with him or not. But his forte is in education. And I would just like to see, what other candidates were reviewed at that time, when they made the selection of Commissioner.
Very good.
I'll see if that information is available, please.
Another comment, please? This,
Superintendent, I do want to thank you for bringing the information from Commissioner Schindler. I had a very pleasant conversation with Commissioner Schindler last week. And I will tell you, I think that the board has been very thoughtful, very deliberate well, I won't speak for the board. I will speak for me. This is a very serious thing that we are doing here. And as I explained to the commissioner during my conversation, that I do not take this job lightly. I spend hours and hours and hours because it is about our children. So I appreciate inputs from everyone. I think that the board has to be dictated by their own consciences, knowing what they need, what they feel they need for this city and for these almost 28,000 children. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with the commissioner suggesting that we do things. I think that that's his role, and I don't think we should sneer at it. I do ultimately believe it is the responsibility of every single board member here, though, to make the decision and call the shot the way they really believe that is best going to serve the children of Jersey City.
The one thing that I am, and I think I'm fairly good at it, is that I'm a politician too. And the key word that he continues to say, and the commissioner did well as a mayor. He used the word encouraged. He did not say do. He did not say mandated. Did not say you have to. He said encouraged. So if I'm not duly encouraged to interview several candidates for the position, even if the board is happy with the current superintendent, then as a whole, if the board doesn't feel encouraged, we don't have to do that process. So I'm just saying that the first one is, first I will encourage. The second one is I will encourage the board to interview. The third is I will encourage the board to specifically perform a benchmark. So since I'm not encouraged, and I'm going to try to unencourage my colleagues, then tell them thank you so much.
I will pass along your gratitude. And,
He knows me personally.
and I believe that you have interpreted the literal meaning of that letter and the thrust of it correctly. The only existing accountability regulations that allow me as the commissioner's representative to be a part of this process is to review the superintendent's contract. After you put it together,
We accept that. We accept that. We accept that.
That's all there is.
The encouragement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Yes.
Good evening and welcome again. I
Vice
was
President.
very, I just hearing the letter, I think it's harder to say this, I'm the longest serving member of the board, and I want to thank you because this is the first time that a county superintendent offered to give us the guidance that you suggested here. You know, we work very closely with the county office, of course, but we've never had an opportunity as a board to say that the county superintendent would review the performance of the schools with us, the board members. So that is something new, and I will look forward through legal to see when that could be set up, because I think that's something that the board would really appreciate, having that kind of contact with the county superintendent's office on the review of it. Even though with all the CUSAC reports and stuff, I mean the benchmarks and the blah blah blahs, I mean it gets very confusing sometimes. We in particular have been confused because under the CUSAC, we're not back to local control in certain areas, the personnel and stuff like that, and so it becomes unclear to us sometimes that we have personnel in the superintendent's contract, but we don't have personnel and other things. So I know, you know, this is a great opportunity for us that if you through your staff could set up meetings for the fall with us, I think everybody would be encouraged to have that kind of meetings.
Vice President Mack, although not required by regulation, it's in my job description that any time I'm called by any Hudson County Superintendent Board of Education, I will meet with them and help them however I can.
Right, and I just want to say this, I don't want to be long-winded, because actually the public hearing on this issue is actually on later this month in August.
Is that August 11th?
The issue of the national search, I just have such a different view of it, and I can tell you why, because the board conducted one national search. I was the board president, Franklin Williams was my vice president. We were still under state control. And I spent an entire summer actually going to Trenton to interview candidates as part of a national search. So I did a national search, and that search resulted in the employment of Dr. Charles X.
Yes.
But this is why I have such a hard time with it, that everybody says poo, 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 poo. National searches aren't any good. But a national search, and I could tell you, we had candidates from Arizona, we had candidates from California, we had candidates from Connecticut, we had candidates from other parts of New Jersey. National search isn't a bad thing because Dr. Epps came out of that search. So I'm a person who says you have to look at the one time the Jersey City Public Schools did a national search. We found a local candidate that people have been very pleased with for the most part. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater that a national, I'm not speaking to you, but I'm speaking to the audience. National search apparently is a good process. I can attest to that because I did it once, and this is the result. So just kind of just putting that back. And again, to Commissioner Schindler, maybe he doesn't have the PhDs and stuff like that in it, but we all know that the commissioner has a long-standing interest in education, which he made us all very aware of us who were, who were here when he was the mayor of Jersey City. So with
Thank you,
that, I'm
Vice
done. Thank
President.
you.
Ms. Lester, sure.
So I also appreciate